We like to think of science as this big book of facts, all set in stone. But the truth is, it's not. At all. Right now, new breakthroughs are happening so fast, they're literally rewriting the rules of everything we thought we knew. So let's dive into some of the most mind-bending discoveries that are changing the game.
So yeah, keep this question in your back pocket as we go, because what you're about to see is that from the dawn of humanity to the farthest reaches of space, the story of our world is getting a major update.
All right, first up, let's talk about our home turf, planet Earth. Some of the newest discoveries are shaking up our most basic assumptions about its past and its present.
We've all seen it in cartoons and museums, right? The whole man the hunter thing. Well, it turns out that stereotype is just wrong. New research from a huge Stone Age burial site in Latvia completely shatters that idea. Archaeologists found women and even children were buried with hunting tools just as often as men were. So much for that old belief about gender roles.
And speaking of getting things wrong, get this. For a century and a half, dozens of fossils of the famous living fossil fish, the coelacanth, were just sitting in museum collections, mislabeled as reptile bones. Over 50 new fossils from the Triassic period were hiding in plain sight the entire time.
This is a huge leap forward. For the very first time, scientists can now figure out the exact age of dinosaur eggs by dating the shells themselves. And they found these particular eggs are 85 million years old, which plops them right into a period of global cooling. That suggests their really porous shells weren't just a random feature. They were likely an evolutionary trick to survive in a changing climate.
Okay, jumping to a very modern problem. A recent study found that a shocking 93% of shark meat sold in the US is mislabeled. Think about that. It means critically endangered species like hammerheads are ending up on dinner plates, sometimes for just a couple bucks a pound. It's a total nightmare for conservation, and it's a huge health risk too, because those top predators are often loaded with mercury.
And the pollution story just gets weirder. Off the coast of LA, scientists spotted these mysterious halos on the seafloor around old dumped barrels. Everyone assumed it was DDT. Nope, it was a caustic alkaline waste that basically formed a concrete-like crust on the ocean floor, creating this super toxic zone that's been messing with the ecosystem for more than 50 years.
And this is just alarming. In a remote, supposedly pristine meadow in Colorado, the population of flying insects has crashed by over 72% in just 2 decades. And the data points a finger directly at one culprit: rising summer temperatures. It's a stark reminder that even the most untouched places on Earth can't escape the effects of climate change.
Okay, now let's zoom in from the planet to ourselves. Our own bodies are still this incredible frontier of discovery, and we're unlocking some amazing new secrets about our health, our brains, and how we can fight off disease.
Ever think, oh, a little junk food won't hurt? Well, you might want to rethink that. New research shows that a high-fat diet can start messing with your memory in as little as 4 days. It actually disrupts how your brain takes in fuel, way before you'd ever see any change on the scale.
So how does your brain even clean itself out? It has this amazing thing called the glymphatic system. It's basically the brain's dishwasher. At night, while you sleep, it uses fluid to flush out all the toxic gunk that builds up, including the proteins linked to Alzheimer's. It's just another powerful reason why a good night's sleep is so critical.
And speaking of Alzheimer's, this could be a total game changer. Scientists have found a biomarker for brain inflammation called TSPO. And get this, it can start showing up in our memory center as early as our late teens or early 20s. We're talking decades before any cognitive symptoms ever appear. This could completely revolutionize how we detect it early.
Now, in cancer therapy, one of the biggest problems is that our own immune cells, our T cells, can just get exhausted and give up the fight. Well, now we know why. The stress from the tumor makes them release these molecules that damage their own DNA. But here's the breakthrough. Scientists have developed a targeted antioxidant that shields them, basically bulletproofing the T cells, so they can get back to work fighting the cancer. Incredible.
A lot of us think of yoga as the peak of healthy practices. And don't get me wrong, it's definitely beneficial. But a new study looking at the health of our arteries found something really interesting. For improving the flexibility of your blood vessels, structured exercise, think stuff like Tai Chi, Pilates, or high-intensity interval training, actually delivers more significant and consistent results.
All right, for our last section, let's zoom all the way out to the cosmos. Thanks to some unbelievable new tools and tech, our view of the universe is expanding in ways we could have only dreamed of a few years ago.
I mean, just look at this. This is a portrait from the Hubble telescope of a galaxy called Messier 96, 35 million light-years away. You can see it's being warped and twisted by a gravitational tug-of-war with its neighbors. And that brilliant glowing ring? That's a massive burst of brand new stars being born, all triggered by those same cosmic forces. It's beautiful and violent all at once.
A little closer to home, on Mars, the Perseverance rover has found some of the most compelling clues yet for a past that could have supported life. In an ancient crater, it found mudstones with organic carbon and weird mineral patterns that look a whole lot like textures created by microbes here on Earth. Now, it's not proof of life, not yet, but these potential biosignatures are really exciting.
So how in the world do you model the entire universe without simulating every single atom? I love this quote because it makes a really complex idea, effective field theory, so simple. It's like studying a glass of water. You don't track every molecule, you just encode the basic properties to see how the whole thing behaves.
And the power of that new approach is just staggering. It used to take a supercomputer hours, sometimes days, to run a complex simulation of the cosmos. Now, a new emulator can run those same incredibly complex models in a matter of minutes on a laptop. That's a revolutionary leap that's opening up cosmology to so many more people.
And here's a perfect example of just brilliant engineering. Flow cytometers are these crucial tools for analyzing cells, but they have one really annoying problem. They clog up. So what did researchers do? They built a smart one that actually uses the beginning of a clog as a signal to adjust itself on the fly. It literally turns a bug into a feature, making the whole system way more accurate. How clever is that?
So we've gone from deep in our planet's past to deep in our own brains and all the way out to deep space. And if there's one big takeaway from all of this, it's that the frontier of what we know is always moving. The only constant really is change.
We've seen ancient myths about our ancestors get shattered, we've peeked inside the brain's cleaning cycle, and we've watched the universe get simulated on a laptop. Our understanding of the world isn't some finished textbook, it's a living story that is constantly being edited, revised, and rewritten.
Which brings us right back to where we started. With all these incredible new tools revealing hidden worlds inside us and all around us every single day, what long-held truth do you think is going to be the next one to get tossed out the window?